everybody, and God bless. So I had a dream on Sunday on the 12th, and what happened was I could still see what was going on outside of my dream, as in like my daughter, she was sleeping in the bed with me. And I just want to say really quickly, I'm a very, very safe sleeper, so don't worry, she was perfectly fine. I've been sleeping with her since birth, so she's okay. Anyways, so I could see her in the bed and how she was sleeping, but I could also see, I knew I was dreaming, so I could also see this dream. And what was happening in this dream is I was cooking, and I cooked either 3 to 4 meals, I couldn't remember, and it was all for my daughter. And then the extra meal was supposed to be like a out of my comfort zone type of meal, and I was like, I had been scared to make this meal, and then finally I just stepped out of my comfort zone and made the meal for her. And it ended up, I said in the dream, I was like, oh, nothing happened to her, she's okay. So when I had like woke up in that dream, my daughter actually woke me up from it, and she was hungry, so I was in the middle of feeding her. And while I was feeding her, I was just like, I don't understand that dream. At first I wasn't even going to record it, and then I'm assuming, maybe God was like, okay, let me get you to understand this even better. So as I'm feeding her, her stomach started growling, and I got upset. I was like, this doesn't even make any sense. I've been trying my best. I thought I've been keeping track of your calorie intake, and I don't understand why your stomach has been growling for the past like week now. Every single time I feed her, either during a feeding, after a feeding, her stomach's just growling all day for like a week. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I just don't get it. So, and then at one point I extra fed her on accident. She ended up throwing up all over the place. So I was like, okay, so I feed you too much, and now I'm feeding her too less. And I'm like, I don't understand. I don't get it. So finally it dropped in my spirit, like, you're not feeding her enough. And that I need to look up, because today's the 15th that I'm recording this. So she turned 9 months today. So when I had this dream, it was just like, she's turning 9 months, and so she's obviously getting bigger. I need to see if I need to feed her more. So when I looked into it, I did research and everything like that, because this is what I felt in my spirit. Do research. She's 9 months. Do research. Figure out what's going on. And I did research, and sure enough, these 9-month-old babies, every single 9-month-old baby I saw, were all like feeding themselves finger food and stuff like that. She's still in purees right now, so I'm like totally behind. And it made sense too, because I could literally, if I try to look up like 10-month plus food, is super hard to find, like super hard. So this whole entire time I'm thinking like they're probably out of it, and like, no, I'm assuming they just don't have 10-month plus. For some reason I have 2 years plus, and I've got that saved up because I accidentally bought it. But anything between like 10 months and a year, I just didn't see any of that. I don't know. But anyways, so I was just like, what to do? And I'm doing all of this research, and all these babies are just super efficient on eating, and I'm like, okay, this is really overwhelming, but I learned as much as I could. And I looked into what she shouldn't eat, but I heard about allergens, but I never could find any information on allergens, like what they were, how to tell not to, like what to do when it happens, and all this stuff. Just anything about allergens, I just heard the word. And then when I heard about it, was it doesn't really, like, it's not going to really affect your child if you don't have allergens in your family. That's what I read. Seriously, that's what I read. And so finally, I think we both went back to sleep, and then we woke up that morning, and I made her some eggs. And I looked into it. When I looked into it, it said I couldn't give her salt, sugar, or honey. Absolutely, like, none of that. So I was like, okay, like, that's fine. And I fed her eggs, and I fed it to her with some pepper, because I was like, I can't give her salt. But some people were literally giving their 9-month-old babies chili pepper. So I was like, so regular pepper should be fine, right? Anyways, I fed her these eggs, and then she started getting super, super tired. And I was like, okay. And then I took her back to sleep. I was like, it is time for your first nap anyway, so let's go ahead and take a nap, because I was also tired. And we laid down and we went to sleep, and then she kept waking up in the middle of her sleep, just crying. And the first time I heard this cry was when I was moving here to my mom's house. And she had cried like that because she was getting overheated in the back seat. And it happened, I think she cried like that twice So I remember that cry, okay? So she had made that cry, and I looked at her, and she's girl is literally in a pool of sweat, and I'm like, what is going on? And I didn't know what to do. The fan was on, the heat was off. I knew the cool air in the whole entire house was on, so I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I felt in my spirit instantly to put her on my chest. So I put her on my chest, and less than 2 minutes later, her body heat regulated. So, but just to go back really quickly, so when I was feeding her those eggs, she started coughing. And this is before I learned about coughing and gagging is okay when you feed a baby. But she started coughing, and I felt in my spirit the black pepper. That's what I felt in my spirit. So I was like, okay, no more black pepper. Anyway, so then we had woke up, and I was like, let me try peanut butter. Once again, I didn't know anything about allergens. Okay. So I fed her this peanut butter bean mix on her wafers, and as I handed it to her, and she was like, it was right before she ate it, like fully was eating it, I noticed her face was red, and she was starting to eat it some more, and I have a video of it, and you can see in the video that her face is red. And so then I cleaned up the area, and I really looked at her better. Now I had already noticed it while she was eating the when she was eating the peanut butter. But then I really that's when I took a video. I took a video after I cleaned up everything, and I looked into it, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this girl has like a rash. All I saw was just this right there. And so I called my sister, and I asked her to clean up everything else, because I was like, I'm trying my best to stay as calm as possible, and I just don't want to freak out right now. Because instantly, as soon as I saw that, I just started praying. And I was like, God, I believe in your promises. I believe in everything that you've told me. Any dream that I've had that involved her, I believe in all of it. So I need you to tell me what to do. I need you to tell me what to do. Because everything that I looked up was just like, take her to the hospital. They're going to shoot her up with an EpiPen, take her blood, figure out like family history to see if it's like a family thing. I'm like, okay. So, and then also when I had looked up all of the stuff, I didn't see that she was having any respiratory problems or anything like that. All she was having was the skin issues. And I was just praying really, really hard, and I felt drop in my spirit to give her to clean her up. So like a bath. I ended up giving her a shower, to breastfeed her, and to put her on my chest again, to do skin to skin. That's literally what I felt, heard in my spirit, was skin to skin treatment, like skin to skin contact. And the last time I did a skin to skin treatment like that to heal her body was when we were in the hospital. And if you follow my mom back then, you probably already know this, but she was born with belly rubin, and I had to do skin to skin contact with her almost every single day. So I did all of that, and then we went to sleep, and she was sleeping on my chest. And after a couple hours later, she woke up, and she was perfectly fine. Like, the rash was completely gone. Because like after I gave her a bath and stuff like that, and I took off everything, all she had on was a diaper, I noticed that the rash was wrapped around her back, wrapped around her legs, wrapped around everything. Her eyes were completely like just like super puffy. And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna stay calm. So then after everything was fine, I think it was the next day. I can't entirely remember. I planned to put the date, but I made her eggs again, and this time obviously with no pepper, and I mixed it in with one of her puree foods, and she ate it, and it was perfectly fine. Now I don't think she finished all of it, but she didn't have any allergy issues, so that's what told me like it was the pepper. It was definitely the black pepper, which I don't even think is listed as a allergen. So even if I did the research of allergen, I probably still wouldn't have known, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, so I think like a couple hours later that day, I ended up making her some more textured food, and that's when I found the perfect texture for her at that moment. And it was potato, and I didn't mash it up all the way, but I mashed it up with another one of her pureed foods, and she ate it up, and I was so happy. Also during that day, I had just felt led to go in my comment section and figure out, go through the comments. And this wonderful woman of God, she had sent me a comment, and she was like, I haven't even watched your video yet, but I just feel led to like say this. And I plan to put it up because you guys definitely need to read this. when I read this, I kid you not, I rejoiced in the Lord, just rejoiced, because I was like, this was most likely a test, because obviously God knows the beginning and the end. Okay, so he knew I was going to feed her eggs with black pepper. He knew that. So why wouldn't he tell me that? Why wouldn't he tell me? Why wouldn't I be introduced to allergens, even though black pepper I don't think is mentioned as an allergen, because I looked it up after and I didn't see anything. But still, why wouldn't he tell me all of this stuff? And I believe he didn't tell me that right then and there because he wanted me to have one of those, I guess, like Abraham and Isaac moments, because that was, as a new mom, seriously, when you see your child like that, as a new mom, the first thing that pops in your head is 911, right? First thing that pops in is like, I need to go to the hospital right now, right? Man, the first thing that popped in my head was I need to call on Jesus, because Jesus is a healer, and that's all I need. Okay, now if God tells me to go, then I'm gonna go, but that's not what he told me, so thank God I listened to him. And I just praise God for this woman of God sending me this, because it was just such confirmation, such confirmation. And a friend of mine actually had a dream about me as well. And when I received that dream, she told me about the dream, and it was about like just pretty much staying encouraged, because the devil is coming to try and discourage me. That also just helped me so much, because I literally was like, I cannot do this. I can't, even though I was super calm and God helped me, I was like, I can't do this when it comes to feeding her, because this girl literally is not even interested in feeding herself anymore. She used to be, but now she's just like, I'm gonna sit back and let you do it all. And it's frustrating. It's honestly really frustrating, just sitting there and you cook all this food for your baby and they just look at you like, I'm not eating that. But I did learn that, everybody goes through that, just sitting there, just watching their child, and that the first couple of months even is just about your child getting used to the texture and everything like that. So I decided to stop slaving over the kitchen, and because this I just learned this today, but stop slaving over the kitchen and just give her like random cuts up of food so she can just fill it and play with it and throw it around. So I just really wanted to post that, because not only to encourage moms out there that God is the healer, call on God for everything, but also to encourage everybody to call on God for literally everything. He is coming back, guys. He's coming back, and we just have to stay positive. There was a scripture that I had read that really helped me as well in Revelation. I can't remember what chapter it was, but I do plan to post it up. But it was talking about how God, he will supply all of our needs, all of them. Like, we will no longer be hungry, no longer be thirsty, no longer be cold or anything like that. And the reason why is because he will feed us. He will feed us. He will keep us warm. He'll help us with everything. Okay. And I do believe that God is doing that today. God is the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. So he's going to do it in the future. I'm pretty sure he's doing it in the present, and he's done it in the past. So that's all I want to say, guys. I hope this really does encourage you guys. God bless you all. And I do